Good day everyone! My name is Shervin Jane Palamos. This video is the continuation of Unit 4 Assessment, Learning Resources, and Instructional Accommodation. This is under Learning Resources and Instructional Accommodations. I will be tackling two topics, and these are Quality Differentiated Instructions and Homeschool or Distance Learning. Objectives: define quality differentiated instructions and homeschool or distance learning. We'll be able to explain the concepts of quality differentiated instruction and homeschool or distance learning to learn about the importance of the topic in education. Let's first tackle about quality differentiated instructions. In a classroom, students are very diverse from their behavior, intelligence, and way of learning. Differentiated instruction means adjusting, suiting, and fitting instructions to meet individual learning needs. Differentiated instruction is a teaching method that adapts education to the individual learning needs of each learner. Instead of lecturing the entire class, a teacher employs a variety of strategies. This might entail working with pupils in small groups or one-on-one. Differentiated education allows instructors to group students based on similar interests and measure students' learning through formative assessment. According to Carol Ann Tomlinson, students have many possibilities for taking in knowledge, making sense of concepts, and articulating what they learn. In this sense, differentiated instruction is very useful. So teachers differentiate instructions in four ways, which are content, process, product, and affect learning environment. Let's start with content. In a classroom, the knowledge, understanding, and skills that students must study are referred to as content. It's vital to note that in a differentiated classroom, these learning goals should almost always be the same for all students. In terms of content, teachers can discriminate between methods that students utilize to retrieve crucial material. Students can learn new facts and concepts through reading alone or with a partner, listening to a novel on tape, or conducting internet research. Content can be done in many ways, such as jigsaw puzzle, reciprocal teaching, and audiovisual representations. Moving on with process. Process is the process of generating sense-making exercise that helps students own the subject by helping them to see how it makes sense and grasp how it is valuable beyond the classroom. Process, according to Tomlinson and MBU 2010, is how students come to grasp and make meaning of the information in a textbook or book. The differentiating process is all about content-based practice. This includes pupils attempting to deduce information, asking questions, and making errors. This is a critical time since it is this point that children begin to learn. It is considered as mastery level and can be done by brainstorming, think, pair, share, journal writing, and interviews. Let's have product. Students may propose how they want to show instructors what they've learned in class. Differentiating multiple choice or true or false tests is possible. Students show what they have come to know, understand, and be able to perform through products. The teacher gives option on how students will apply their skills and let students choose their own creative way on presenting the task. Lastly is affect learning environment. Students' self-concept, willingness to learn, and capacity to collaborate are all influenced by our emotions and feelings, which are shaped by our past experiences and reactions to present events. All of these elements are important in the learning process, and individualized teaching is an important part of how we teach today's students. Differentiating student affect, changing the learning environment to fit the emotional needs of students. Some kids can't sit still for long periods of time, so we give them additional opportunities to walk about the room, says Professor David Tomlinson. Since we already know how teachers differentiate instructions, we will now tackle about how teachers differentiate students according to three things. The first one is students' readiness. A student's present closeness to required knowledge, understanding, and abilities. They point out that readiness is not the same as ability. For example, good instruction causes frequent changes in readiness. The purpose of readiness differentiation is to make work a bit too tough for children at a certain stage of development and then to offer the assistance they need to achieve at the new level of effort. Second is students' interest, that which draws a student's attention and curiosity and engagement, is how interest is defined. People's drive to learn about something rises when they are interested in it, which improves learning results. The purpose of interest differentiation is to help students relate new knowledge, understanding, and abilities to things they already like, find fascinating, relevant, and worthwhile. Typically connected to a student's talent, cultural background, personal experiences, questions, or feeling of need. Third is student's learning profile. The learning profile of a learner is defined as a predilection for taking in, investigating, or expressing material. Gender, culture, learning style, such as working alone or in groups while sitting still or moving around in a bright or dark room, and intelligence preference. The purpose of learning profile differentiation is to educate in the ways that students learn best and to expand their learning options. Many experts in a range of professions advise against using learning styles surveys to determine students' preferred modes of learning or allocating pupils to a certain learning style group over time. We will now move on to the second topic, which is homeschool or distance learning. Since we are facing this pandemic, students are already using distance learning due to safety protocols. So what is distance learning? Distant learning is a way of educating students online. Lectures and learning materials are sent over the internet, not in a classroom. Some pupils who do not have access to a computer or the internet may suffer from this strategy. Those who acquire more motivations and organizing support may also struggle. Here are the two main categories of distance learning: synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous learning is less adaptable than other remote learning methods, as students are required to meet with their teacher and classmates at predetermined times. The term synchronous means at the same time, and it refers to a real-time delivery style of instruction. This is accomplished by the use of technology, such as teleconferencing. This method restricts a student's freedom to study at his or her own speed. It may irritate some students who prefer the flexibility of an asynchronous classroom. Asynchronous, on the other side, students can connect with course content outside of planned meetings or classes by participating in online discussions, quizzes, or video comments on their own time. There are greater options for students' involvement with asynchronous, remote learning. Weekly deadlines are assigned to students in groups and they are allowed to work at their own pace. The flexibility of asynchronous learning benefits both teachers and students since it allows them to generate and consume material when it is convenient for them. So let's move on to what are the types of distance learning. The most common one is video conferencing. Video conferencing is traditionally a meeting where two or more participants use video to connect over the internet. This is a form of synchronous communication. Using tools like Zoom, Blackboard, Collaborate, Adobe Connect, or other conferencing software. Teachers and students interact together no matter where they are located. The next is hybrid distance education. Hybrid distance education combines synchronous and asynchronous methods. Students receive deadlines to complete assignments and exams. Then, they work at their own pace. They submit assignments through online forums. They maintain contact with their instructor. Yet, they work at their own pace. As students progress, they gain access to new modules. And the open schedule online courses. Students are given a set of deadlines, then the instructor sets them free to work at their own pace. Students who value learning independently excel with this format. It requires significant self-discipline and motivation, though. Students who lack the right skill set may find this approach daunting. They may feel overwhelmed by the presentation of material. They may lack the motivation to work through the course in an effective way. Lastly is fixed-time online courses. Students log into the learning site at designated times. They must complete pre-scheduled classroom activities at a specific pace. These activities often include chat and discussion forums. Fixed-time online courses encourage student interaction, but there's a little room for self-pacing. So what are the benefits of distance learning? We have self-inspiration. Motivated students excel in distancing learning classes. It encourages students to stay self-disciplined. Students take on greater personal responsibility. They must stay well organized. They must perform well in an online setting. Another is flexibility to choose. Distance learning courses also comes with flexibility. This varies by course structure though. For many courses, students set their schedules. They take classes in their preferred location. Another is adaptability and freedom. Instructors can tailor distance learning to suit students' diverse educational needs, and it provides students with the freedom to learn anywhere at their own pace. It remains an adaptable relearning form. Another is easy access. Attending traditional classes is impossible for some. Work and home life responsibilities can get in the way. Distance learning provides easy access to education. Students need a computer and an internet connection. Another is earning while learning. For those working full-time jobs, continuing education was once out of the picture. Today, though they can home and update their professional skills, distance learning provides the flexibility to do so in the evening and on weekends. Schooling no longer has to come before a career. Money and time savings. Distance learning also saves money and time. Students, also instructors, don't have to worry about travel time to and from campus. They don't have expenses related to gas, car maintenance, or parking. Single parents can avoid childcare costs and still have a valuable learning experience. Lastly is virtual trips. Distance learning allows students to take virtual trips. These trips let students experience places related to the curriculum. Students can learn in an interactive ways through these experiences. Virtual trips are an exciting way to engage students. Under interactive tools, many instructors rely on to increase engagement. That would be the end of my report. I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching and keep striving, future educators. Bye-bye.